This year, the bipartisan Ban Secret Deals Coalition launched to support state champions who are working to end this corrupt practice. Leaders in Florida, Illinois, Michigan, and New York introduced critical legislation to ban NDAs, and New York's legislation passed the state Senate on a bipartisan, unanimous vote. A truly rare level of agreement in today's political environment, I think we can all agree. And we are very excited then to have that bill's sponsor, Senator Michael Gianaris, here to deliver keynote remarks in just a moment. Pat and Caitlin Coughlin from our sister organization, Fight Corporate Monopolies, put out a great report and organizing guide on this issue this week as well. So be sure to check that out. And if we convince you to join this fight, which we think we will, please make sure to visit bansecretdeals.org to sign up for updates and learn about opportunities to fight for new rules that will stop corporations from extracting wealth from our local communities. And with that, I will turn it over to Senator Gianaris.
Thank you, Morgan, and good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank the American Economic Liberties Project for organizing this and doing so much work on an important and an issue that I think too much of the public is unaware of. Part of the reason I'm unaware is because of these non-disclosure agreements that are part of these deals, but we'll talk about that today as well. A little bit of background about myself and how I came to this fight. I'm probably most familiar to any of you, or at least the issue with which you'd be most familiar, is Amazon's HQ2 proposal. That was supposed to land here in my district in Queens, New York. We had just succeeded in securing the Senate majority at the time, and that gave me some leverage over the approvals required to have that project come here. And what we discovered very quickly as we looked into it was all sorts of deals were being made by our executives, most notably the former governor, but also the mayor at the time of the city, were involved in secret negotiations with Amazon that nobody other than themselves knew about. And in fact, they were bound legally not to discuss it with anybody because of one of these non-disclosure agreements that was part of the process. So what did Amazon do? They went around the country, as everybody knows, made everybody sign these secrecy deals and pitted everyone against themselves, made them negotiate against each other to the tune of billions of dollars in incentives and subsidies that were offered. That I think we can all agree Amazon didn't need. It was a pure shakedown to try and have the public pay for the right to have them do business in their communities. Never mind how bad an actor they are as it relates to their employees and their workers. That could be a whole topic for a whole other seminar. But what we did is we started asking questions, and it was amazing how just a little bit of sunlight completely unraveled that deal, because they didn't want to talk to the community, they didn't want to engage with the community, they didn't want to have any real conversation about what the needs of the neighborhoods they were proposing to take over were. And so that's my entry point into this conversation. What happened after that is we started looking further into this kind of proposals and realized it's pervasive. Amazon HQ2 was a very high profile and notable example of it. But we found numerous examples just in our own state where this is the type of thing that's been happening. And it's become all too commonplace for private entities to realize now they can just turn to government and say, how much you're going to give me? Don't tell anyone how much you're giving me until it's too late to do anything about it. We've seen it here in New York in stadium deals and warehouse proposals. And I think what we know from the work we've done here with AELP and connecting now with Representative Escamani and Representative Walke, who we're going to hear from later, is that this is going on all over the country. This was not just a New York specific problem. The private sector has realized that they can turn to public dollars, have discussions in secret with the people who commit those dollars to them, and then it's too late to peel it back by the time it's all said and done. And so we're working hard to legislate this practice away. I think Morgan mentioned as part of the introduction that here in New York, we introduced a very simple bill that says you cannot sign a non-disclosure agreement on an economic development deal if you are a public servant or an economic development official. It did pass the Senate with a large bipartisan margin. I think we're seeing great partisanship throughout the country. Here in New York, to have both members of both parties so resoundingly agree on something is quite unusual. I think the only other instance I can remember is something that supported puppies and kittens, which everyone can also agree on. So you can imagine how unusual it is for members of both parties to step in and say these secrecy deals are a problem and should be prohibited. We're now working on getting our other house, the Assembly, to pass it when we're back into session, and hopefully take a huge step in rolling back this practice that has started to occur. It's bad enough we're subsidizing these deals to the tune of billions of dollars, but to then do it without the public having the opportunity to opine on it, to say whether it's a good idea or not, makes it that much worse. And I know with the colleagues we have on this call and the growing movement that the American Economic Liberties Project and Pat and everyone over there are working on, we're going to make progress on this. We're going to get there sooner than later to give the public its voice back and how its own money is being committed to some of these corporations. So we are committed to the task here in New York and look forward to continuing our work together to make it happen. And let's get this done. Thank you for having me and giving me the opportunity to speak today.
Thank you so much to Senator Gianaris. As he said, getting that bill through was a big deal. As far as I know, it's the first vote on such legislation anywhere in the country, and to have it go through with such a large bipartisan majority was really inspiring for all of us who spend our days in the trenches on this issue.